Welcome to Same Cast, Different Day podcast. I am Marta Roland and I am having some serious technical issues.
I am Tina Marie, and I have a hungry toddler in my background.
So, um, I had a whole thing planned. This is not how.
You and your technical difficulties, man.
So no, so I had the icon never showed up for me to go live on Instagram, and well, it says that I'm live on Instagram, but whatever. Okay, I don't see it on my thing.
Welcome, everybody.
So, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. We are live and uncut. If a case I forgot to tell you that, and unedited, by the way. So, question to kick off the show before we get into the sad, depressing stuff. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh,
I still
that's
want
a
to
good question.
stop time because when somebody pisses me off, I could just stop, just either freeze the whole room and just woo sigh for a quick second before I have to whoop somebody ass, or make some quick changes without somebody noticing. So I feel like if you got the power just to freeze the whole room, you can get away with a lot of shit in life. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. That's one way to think about it and why you would want that superpower. Okay. So I think I would have to go with um, Wolverine's power, right? Anybody that is a true Marvel fan would know what his actual superpower is. And I mean, it's great and all and dandy and everything, but it has a bad side to it, like you're tortured, right? It doesn't seem like being able to heal like that.
Hmm.
Something fun because you remember one time he got shot in the head, right?
Hmm.
And his body healed itself, or even with like the adamantium, that was painful. And then just the way he died, right? Did you watch the last one?
With yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, and like he like the adamantium basically poisoned him slowly for years and years and years, and he finally died.
Just so sad. It was just
But that's still the superpower I would like to have, though. It's still the same one.
wah, wah, wah.
What about y'all? Let us know in the comments if it was a superpower that you would like to have. Tell us what it is and why. We can share that on the next episode.
And then I'm gonna drink to that real fast.
Oh, I'll drink to that.
Mm. So,
Hmm.
the current administration, let's talk about this current administration. The current administration does not care about how they are tearing this country apart. I've been drinking, y'all. Tearing this country apart. This administration do not care about the hurt and pain that they're causing. They do not care about the thousands who has lost their jobs. They do not care about families being separated and torn apart. They do not care about the people who work for years and pay into Social Security for them to just try to take that away from them. They do not care about the millions of people who will lose their health care because of them, while they are receiving free health care for life, by the way, because once those elected people like in the Senate and Congress and stuff, they get health care for life and they don't have to pay for it. This administration cares more about banning books against their beliefs. They care more about what other people want what other people want to do with their bodies and what they identify as. They care more about having control over a woman's body. In Texas, it's legal in Texas to shoot an unwanted guest on your property. Like I said before, if you're a woman, you don't have the right. You don't have a right. You don't have the right to choose what you do with your own body when it comes to your own body. They are deporting illegal immigrants, calling them criminals and other things. We have people who believe that Mexicans are coming here and living off the system when actually Mexicans pay more in taxes than most Americans. They
Mm.
they cannot get food stamps. They cannot get Section 8. They cannot get a lot of resources that everyday Americans do have access to. They are They are even deporting kids with cancer and not giving them treatment, which I will talk about later on in the show. And why do they think this is all okay? When are they going to wake up and realize what they're doing is wrong? Is what I really want to know.
Well, it looks like you felt some kind of way while you was writing this.
I was really pissed off writing this.
Yeah, I don't know why they think any of what they're doing, this administration is doing right now is okay. Nothing is okay. I don't feel like I agreed with anything yet. Have you?
I have not agreed with anything this administration has done
Yeah.
at all.
Hey, I don't feel like.
Sorry, y'all.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. So, like I said, I personally have not agreed with anything they have done. I have not seen this administration do anything to really help the people. So, one thing they kind of did get right that was in that's supposedly in a big beautiful bill is the no tax on tips up to $25,000. If that's kind of a good thing if that get passed. Um, Other than that, yeah, I can't think of anything else that the current administration did. To be honest, I'm just gonna be honest.
And it's
I
crazy. We only what like seven for to be 7 months in.
6 months. Oh yeah, it's 7 months. Yes, yes, it is seven. I forgot
It's gonna be July, yeah.
we did
Ooh,
it. This year's just going by really, really fast, and
extremely fast.
I can't keep up with it.
Me neither.
But yeah, and it's just it's I want to be like, when are y'all going to wake up and realize like all these decisions that y'all are making is affecting the people that's going to vote for you? And then these megas are like, yeah, they're doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. No, they're doing not doing the right thing because this really affects a lot of people who voted for you, people for these people to be in office. Is which I don't really get. Why are y'all still supporting these people today? I saw some people outside today. And mind y'all, today's temperature was around 93 degrees today with a field temperature of 97, 98 degrees.
It was hot.
There was people outside. I got a picture of this from my car. They were outside protesting in this weather, protesting Trump in this weather today, and
Mhm.
have a freaking heat stroke. And that's what I saw.
It be
And
like that when you feel strongly about something.
yes,
Hmm.
and yes, and it just kills me how these MAGA people keep standing behind this man who just keeps causing nothing but just hurt and pain for people.
Well, I kind of feel like, I feel like all of these rules and new laws or whatever are getting put into place because then it's not really going to matter. Um, like they're still going to be able to control the country. So, like, it'll be less rights put in the hands of the voters. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? To determine stuff like that. Just like how you was telling me about, I don't know if we're talking about it later, the Supreme Court. Like, if you want to block, yeah, yeah. So kind of like that. I mean, I feel like it's going to be more of that, and then we're going to start to lose more power, and more power is going to be shifted over to only certain individuals, and then I feel like they're going to try to keep or control those offices, those
Mhm.
specific offices. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So before we get into the birthright citizenship thing, I want to play a clip for y'all that came from a senator. So I want to play this clip for you.
You know what it costs to keep a kid on Medicaid? $10 a day. How about keeping that child fed with SNAP benefits? $6 a day. What do Republicans want to give away to the already rich? $6 million per billionaire. Think about that. For a billionaire, $6 million is not even a rounding error. For a hungry child, it's enough to eat every single day for 34 lifetimes. Inflicting hunger on children to give billionaires money they don't need and won't even notice? There is no moral code under which that is acceptable.
So I feel her 100% on that. But the only thing I didn't like what she said in there was they wouldn't even notice if it was gone. I didn't like the way she phrased that. She probably could have phrased that a little bit better because I feel like somebody that's opposing what she is saying is going to say or imply that funds have been misappropriated in past with the government offices, everything that Elon Musk was supposed to be
So you
doing with.
think that the billionaires wouldn't notice that the $6 million is gone?
Probably not. I'm be honest with you.
They
Right
would.
now, me, if I can, $100 could go missing, then I wouldn't. I would just chuck it up to. I must have bought something I forgot that I bought. I got a lot of stuff that I forget that I have until I run back across it.
Hmm.
So kind of like that. Like if you are a billionaire, $6 million, like she said, is not a rounding number. So they probably wouldn't notice it, but it would help out tremendously. You know what I'm saying? Within what she was talking about. But yeah, just her wording it like that they wouldn't miss it. I feel like it's going to kind of open up the door for some her opponents to kind of attack her.
True. So let's move into birthright citizenship. So the Supreme Court gives Trump the okay to ban birthright citizenship in some parts of the country. For those of you who don't know, birthright citizenship is when both parents are from another country and they are undocumented. They have a child in America, making that child a legal citizen of the United States. Um, so not so yeah, it makes the child a citizen of the United States, not not where the parents is from. So we do have what he's doing is very unconstitutional because the 14th Amendment says all people born in the United States, as in this country, we are all you I'm messing up, y'all. As in this country, we are all living in. We are legal U.S. citizens. They are legal U.S. citizens. After Trump passes this executive order, federal courts around the country ruled it was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court, in a decision on Friday, gave the green light to end birthright in some parts of the country in a 6-3 decision. All the liberal justices were against it, and the 6 right wing justices were for it, which now means that the federal courts that ruled that is unconstitutional do not have the jurisdiction or authority to institute a nationwide ban and can only institute regional bans, which means for their state that the federal lawsuit was filed in. So, to be clear, the Supreme Court did not rule that birthright citizenship was or was not constitutional. They did not rule on that. That would not come until October when they will rule on that. They ruled that the lower courts, federal courts, uh, do not have the jurisdiction to implement a nationwide ban on the matter. The Supreme Court will have to rule on this legal matter in some parts of the country, basically. So, and then another thing that came up that somebody brought to my attention. So they were saying that Melania Trump was came to America on an Epstein or Einstein Epstein, I can't remember, type of visa, which is for like scholars or extraordinary people, whatever you want to call it. So she came over on one of those visas. She had their son. What is the younger? She had her son 2 days before she got this visa in the United States. So then now that would make her son a product of birthright citizenship. Now, do you think we should kick her youngest son out the country because he's not a legal U.S. citizen technically under this?
Under this law.
Yeah,
So what the law is basically saying that they could end it, but then it's who finna deport them?
true. And so the Supreme Court more like because it is in the constitutional, like in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, that anybody but is born in the U.S. is a legal U.S. citizen. There's no way around it. In October, like I said, they can enforce it. Like just like no, you can't do that, Trump. Getting rid of birthright citizenship. But what people don't fail to realize is that yes, the United States is one country, but we have 50 states and then other territories within the United States. And each of these states and territories act like act like their own separate country within the country. So by them saying like so like all the red states can be like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of birthright citizenship, and all the blue states can be like, yeah, we're gonna keep birthright citizenship. And what happened
Everybody that want it is gonna go to the ones that support it.
that too. But what happened the last time something like this happened? Does anybody remember what happened the last time that the red
The
states
Civil War.
exactly? So some people are saying that the United States is heading into a civil war over this whole birthright citizenship. And I really sat down and thought about it, and then they said like, "Oh, this is the same thing that happened when it came to slavery, back in the 1800s when it came to, the red states wanted slavery, the blue states didn't want slavery, and then you had then the Civil War happened, and all these other kind of things, and that's what really good. That's what I started looking really thought about it like that's what we're going into. That's what it's leading to. Like we're going to have a civil war again in the United States. It's going to be the North versus the South.
I was
Blue.
gonna say, I was gonna say, well, I feel like we're safe up here.
Mm-hmm.
But if it ever happened, so then my question is, I wonder to what extent would the reach has on this, because like I was telling you, like we're technically birthright citizens, right? I know my
European American, everybody that's of a European descent or
yeah
African American descent or from any other country, unless you are a Mexican or a Native American, birthright citizenship is us.
yeah
Those like birthright citizen, only people who are technically legally here in the United States is Mexicans and Mexicans and Native Americans. For those of you who don't know your history, part of most of the southern part of the United States was owned by Mexico until the Louisiana Purchase.
I
In case you didn't
mean,
know that.
yeah, it's a lot of. I feel like it's a lot of similarities in the cultures too, right? Because they were on the same continent.
Mhm.
So, um, so that's my question. Like, how far does that go back? Like, is it just going to be that, like, take the whole Melania Trump situation? Like, she wasn't a citizen yet, right? She just had a visa, and she
Mhm.
had her son, so he would be a U.S. citizen, and she was not. So, like, are they going to say if your parent wasn't a U.S. citizen and you were born in the United States, you're not a citizen?
Pretty much. So basically, they say any undocumented immigrants that came to the United States and they had a child, that child will no longer be considered a U.S. citizen, even though the child was born here in the U.S. And then, for those of you who don't know, so say like you on a cruise and you out in international waters and you pregnant and you have a baby, whatever the closest like territory or country that the ship is closest to, and you had when you have your baby is part of that country. They're considered a citizen of that country. Just for those of you who don't know.
That would be a wild story to tell somebody, wouldn't it?
It would.
That would be a wild story.
Like, yeah, I had you in the middle of the ocean, so they said the closest country we was to was Australia. So boom, that's where you from. But yeah, so like I said, like so technically, they could get rid of her youngest son, uh what was we talking about? Oh, birthright citizenship. They could get rid of his citizenship, and then people gonna try to argue, well, Trump is his dad and he's a legal US citizen, but y'all failed to forget that Trump dad was a immigrant also. Just
Yep,
saying.
sure was. Yep.
So even if Trump dad was a legal citizen, but we go back before that and before that, before that, and before that. So say like they go back to, let's go back to 1776. Anybody born after 1776 and their parents was not a legal US citizen, guess what?
Not y'all finna deport generations of people. That's why I say, who finna deport all these people? What are we talking about? What are we
That's
really
exactly
talking
what it
about?
like. Are we really gonna deport generations of people? Like, come on, because they're like, because it's almost like, so say like two immigrants come and they have a baby here and they end up staying in the US, whatever. They baby grow up in the US and then that baby have a baby and now that baby is in the US. So then it's almost like it is. It's like be deporting generations and generations because you take away the parent's citizenship, then you take away the child's citizenship, then you take away that the child of the child's citizenship. It's just gonna be a domino effect. So it's like, yeah, you deporting generations of people. Who got time for that? You right.
Then I'm thinking about what happens like to people who are descendants of slaves.
That's a good question.
Because slaves were technically property. So I don't know if anybody was keeping track of who was from and that because they were property. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they were black people. So even after the first couple of 100 years of slavery,
Mhm.
like who was keeping records? Did they start keeping records? Like what,
I don't think
we do family trees, right? So that's what our culture do. Like in the Bible, we have like a family tree and we try to fill it out to the best of our ability.
yeah. I don't think they kept records of where they actually took people from. I just feel like they was just going down to Africa and just snatching up black people and bringing them over here. They didn't care about where they were taking them from. And then this is during the time where, and it was like, what made them sell? If anybody wondered what made them sell down to Africa and start doing it, if y'all don't realize the southern part of Africa is colonized by the Europeans. If you
By the
can't
Dutch specifically. Yeah.
in case y'all didn't know that, till this day, South Africa is ruled under the European nation. Just in case y'all didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of smart sometimes, y'all.
Hey, little bit. I'm so proud of you.
So to keep things going, Republican congressman calls for deportation. Congressman calls for his deportation of Zoran Madami. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. In an Islamic Post, I pronounced it right. I was worried about it earlier. Zoran is it's the Democratic candidate to be the next mayor of New York City. In a post, Andy Oglas, I don't know how you pronounce his name, said
Ogles.
he said, in quote, Zoran, little Muhammad Madami, very racist, is an
Ooh, honey.
who will destroy the great city of New York. That's what I said. I was reading this like, oh my God.
Ooh.
The great city of New York. He needs to be deported in all capital letters. Which is why I'm calling for him to be denaturalization proceedings. Andy is saying that because Zoran was not born in the United States, should be subjected to denaturalization for allegedly lying about his affiliation during the naturalization process. We need to spread. Oh wait, that's part I was supposed to read. We need to spread the word about things like. Tina, don't judge me. I had to put little reminders in there for myself.
Oh God.
But this is a Republican. A Republican, I don't even know what the fuck he is to be. Oh, congressman. This is a Republican congressman who's on Twitter being openly racist and just being like, why are people so freaking hateful? Stop being hateful. Like, what is the problem? I can't stand people sometimes. Jesus. Hey,
I don't know. That's crazy. I didn't know about that.
whew. I need to come down. Let me have a drink.
Drink to that.
Right, I drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good stuff. So to keep the show going, major human rights abuse allegations. 911 has been receiving hundreds of calls from ICE detention facilities from across the country since January. There has been nearly 400 EMS calls to ICE facilities, 50 involving potentially involving cardiac arrest, 26 referring seizures, 17 involving head injury, 7 described as self-harm. These calls show migrants pleading for help. 60% of the facilities have serious pregnancy complications, self-harm attempts, sexual assault allegations. Just imagine what else has been going on there that has not been reported. what really goes on inside these places are overcrowded, they're understaffed. Most of the people in these places has never committed crimes. And I remember Trump said early in his campaign that he wasn't going to go after people like immigrants uh, who didn't have any criminal records or anything like that, but he has. So it's just almost like it's like, okay, so now all this stuff is kind of about how these people are being unfair, how they're being treated unfair, and he's deporting these people to countries that they ain't never been, and all these other kind of things. Now, if another country was to constantly call a business and be like, hey, yeah, if you don't start doing something about this whole situation and how you treat these immigrants, we're going to do this, this, and that, or we're going to come over here and we're just going to try to get involved ourselves, like attack. I remember Japan was saying at one point they were going to get involved when it comes to American deportation. So I wonder if this will give like these what they call human rights allegations, abuse allegations. I wonder if this will give other countries the rights to basically invade the U.S. over this. This is just another reason or example of Donald Trump putting us Americans in danger.
I mean, so what do you think typically the US would do if somebody was being held in a detention center in another country?
Like we would get involved. We always stick in our noses in business, which I'm gonna talk about later in the show. We always stick in our noses in business that we don't have no business being in.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I would think if they might have snatched up somebody of some type of status and then realized and them people gonna come for the person.
Right. And if y'all haven't realized, how many people have y'all seen being deported or talked about being deported have been white or of a lighter skin tone? Because have you noticed only brown people have been getting deported, which is Mexicans, people
Yeah,
from like you said, Islamic people. I don't know what they call them, like Arabic people, they
Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern, Middle Eastern people, like brown people. Those are the only people that you have been seeing being deported. It's brown people.
Hmm.
If y'all haven't noticed,
And
but
I've seen some Africans too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, black people, hell,
Haitians.
brown,
Yeah.
we brown. Damn it, I got to think about Haitians. I think later on in the show too.
Okay.
So deportations continue. Federal agents in the Florida Keys are waiting in the parking lot of a state-funded children's shelter. Why are they there? They are assuming that parents of children that are in foster care would show up. While on their way into the building, they will detain them and deport them. A mother bought. Oh, wait, that's a whole nother thing. Okay, so yeah, so say you're an illegal immigrant for some reason, your child is taken away from you, and you're going to you're trying to go to the foster care system to get them back, and now they try to go get them back, and then they basically ICE is waiting outside, and then they detain them and deport them out the country. And here's another thing I was wondering. So these kids that are legal U.S. citizens, and then their parents somehow get detained and get deported. They have no other family over here. And then say like in October, the Supreme Court rule that birthright citizenship is legal and these kids have the rights to stay here. We're going to have a system flooded with just kids, like thousands of kids who need homes because our president deported their parents. I'm like, at the point, well, so now we got taxpayers paying for these kids everything, like they're paying for the housing and all these other things for these kids that are in foster care. So now you got taxpayers paying for that. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep their illegal parents in the United States who still pay taxes like any other American person, and yet can't get a lot of the American benefits, and yet still manage to take care of their child not on government assistance? So wouldn't it make sense to keep their parents here?
I feel like it would make more sense to allocate these dollars that he has into ICE to deport these people, instead put them into whichever department dealing with the citizenship process, and make it better, make it more efficient, and make it more strict, right?
Mhm.
Like it got to be some kind of way where they have a list of people because they can pull up whose visas or whatever who actually applied for a visa is expired. You know,
Mhm.
you can start there to contact them. Hey, this, that, and the other. If you don't do something, we're going to detain you. You know, make it a little easier. Make the process a little bit easier. Not saying make it so easy to become American citizen, but make it more customer service friendly. Because anybody that know to deal with the U.S. government, it ain't nothing easy about dealing with the U.S. government. You got to call, be on hold. You don't know who you're supposed to be talking to. You got to talk to about 5 different people. They don't do anything online. Everything you got to paper copies, mail it in. It take 2 months to get a response. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. It's a very lengthy process, even for people who were born in America for stuff that we're supposed to be given as citizens, right?
Right.
So just imagine how it can be. We're probably dragging our heels on making people U.S. citizens. I'll be honest with you. You
Right.
know.
So I was I was thinking on the next episode that because there so I think I was thinking on the next episode that we should do the citizenship test.
Mm.
Because us as Americans, there are a lot of Americans who don't know American history, and I feel like I know some. I might actually study for this. But I was wondering, like, so I was thinking, like, on the next episode, we should do the citizenship test to see how much if we can pass it. Because it's
Okay.
the so it's because I wonder how many Americans I wonder how many Americans can do the citizenship test and actually pass it. Because a lot of people are you're not American and you're not this or you're not that. So if you don't know these facts about your own country, then I feel like you should be a citizen also if you can't pass the citizenship test.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure even like if you
the
ask
only problem I have with the citizenship test is there anybody of color in that test that contributed to America being America? You get what I'm saying? Because they're
right.
gonna ask about like the founding fathers, probably like major conflicts or wars, stuff like that. I
Mhm.
feel like they're gonna ask like that type of stuff definitely. So I'm
I mean,
like,
people ask like, when was the Declaration of Independence wrote? Who
yeah,
wrote the Declaration of Independence? And I bet a lot of people don't even know who wrote the Declaration of Independence.
mm, mm, mm.
So, yeah. So I was thinking about doing that on the next show. Not sure yet, but I was thinking about doing that on the next show.
Y'all, he finna make me do some homework.
But to keep the show going about deportations, a mother brought her two children to immigration court on May 29th, expecting to continue to make a case for asylum after fleeing Honduras because of threats of violence. Their case was quickly dismissed, and ICE agents were waiting outside of the courthouse for them to pick them up. A 6-year-old boy who was with them was diagnosed with leukemia. The kids were crying in fear. One of the agents at one point lifted up his shirt, which displayed a gun he was carrying. The 6-year-old boy was terrified to see the gun. He urinated on himself and wet his clothes. No one offered him a change of any clothing. The 6-year-old had also been had mistreatments for his leukemia symptoms. And now the family has filed a federal lawsuit against ICE, and it was filed in San Antonio by the Immigration's Right Clinic in Texas Civil Rights Project.
So, first of all, way to go, United States government. They were fleeing their home country
Hmm.
because of threats of violence, and then they hear and get met with threats of violence. Way to
Hmm.
go.
That's exactly what I said. And the thing about it, and like, okay, I wonder because by the child being a 2-year old, I don't know if the child was born here or in Honduras. But at the same time, it's like this ain't the first time I heard about a kid with cancer not getting treated for any of their cancer symptoms, or to even to try to cure the not can't well cure the cancer like radiation, all this other kind of stuff.
Put it in remission.
Yeah, So they're not getting their treatments at all, and then you just have these kids detained in facilities until they're deported. And there are talks of like these kids, these places that they hold these people in, like they're saying like they only being allowed to shower once a week. They're not given proper food and all these other kind of things. Like it's horrible. It's very, very horrible conditions. And and we have an administration who just don't care about human rights, human decency. Like, yes, I'm here illegally. I came over here illegally, but at least if you're gonna kick me out of the country, do it with some dignity. Why is that so hard to ask for? And then this next part, when I was reading about this, I said, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" When I heard about this story. So let's talk about the Protection Law Enforcement from Doxing Act. It is a new proposal that will criminalize revealing the identities of ICE agents. What does this mean if this bill get passed? You could face up to 5 years in jail for revealing the identity of a ICE agent publicly on the internet or to obstruct enforcement. 5 years in jail.
So this is what I don't understand. Like when you got federal agents that are undercover, you don't get 5 years for revealing who they are. They get in trouble if they allow anybody to know in what capacity they work for in the government. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. I've seen a lot of videos where police officers are approaching federal agents, like FBI agents who are undercover, and these people, and there a lot of the time these people are being what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not victimized, racially profiled. They're being profiled,
Mhm.
and uh these people will basically, that's when the FBI agent will literally like they try to whisper to the agents, like, you seen in the videos, like, hey, I'm undercover, you're fucking up my case right now, blowing up, you're gonna messing up my identity, and revealing myself to these people that we've been working on for years. Police officers still don't believe on these FBI agents who are undercover, literally have to pull out their badge to prove, hey, I really am an FBI agent, get the fuck away. And that's when the officers finally back off. So now when these police officers do the same thing to these other undercover agents, are they going to get the 5 years in jail? And then
That's
on
what I'm saying.
and then on top of that, why are ICE agents running around not showing their identities in the first place? Because any law, I would not. If a law enforcement agent was to come up to me, I don't care if you have your full face covered where I can't really see who you are. I'm not going to. No, I need to be able to see your face. I'm not going to believe that you're a real federal agent or a police officer or sheriff. Any of these things, if you got your whole entire face covered, like they're wearing ski masks, they're wearing regular masks, where it's like you were in the hospital. They
It's
got
like
the
it's a
thing
movie.
under their nose, like cowboys and stuff. And they got the from the nose down cover. It's like, and sunglasses on. So it's like, why do y'all need to cover y'all identities? Why?
I
Because
guess I
there are
guess
people
they
in the
feel like
military.
that if we revealed our identities, then people are gonna be on the lookout for people that approach them to catch them off guard. Like they know when they're coming or they've been spotted or seen, and maybe they'll try to be killed. And
But
they're
that,
all when they're like off duty and
but
doing
that's
their
understandable.
own
Once
thing.
again, police officers arrest and like detectives, they do these same damn near the same job, but yet their faces are revealed. Just like we have people who are high class people in the military, we don't know their identities, but once again, they are high. These are people who know U.S. secrets. They are out in these areas doing classified missions. They probably don't have them got hired to kill somebody, but once again, when they are out in public, though, their faces are still shown. They look like everyday people.
That's true. And then they're also probably trained like in just making sure like homes and stuff are safe and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if they know somebody following them or surveilling them, like you're supposed to get probably trained in that stuff.
That's what it is. So these ICE agents should be trained the same way. I don't think they should be able to hide their identities. You chose that job. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, who wanted to be an ICE agent?
Exactly. You chose that job. So deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with the repercussions of people knowing who you are. Deal with it.
Yeah, they can't do that, or else they're gonna have to make it the same way again across all the federal agencies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Trump ends protection statuses. What does that mean? Trump is ending protected statuses for over 500,000 Haitians. Days after the administration said that Haiti was a country in serious unrest, pretty much saying that the country is not safe to live in, revoking temporary status that was granted to the Haitians living in the United States. He is doing this by September 2nd. 500,000 people are going to be sent back to a country that the United States has travel restrictions on. And somehow the Trump administration thinks that it's safe for these people to go back after these people were like fleeing because of the danger and the gang violence and everything else that was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So if these people left their country and feared their own country and they came to the United States to seek asylum, why are we sending them back? 500,000 people going back to Haiti.
It's crazy because Americans do the same thing. If they fleeing somebody in the country, they'll go overseas where like they can't get extradited. They stay in charge.
It's just like because of the state of the United States and now Americans can go seek asylum in Canada
Yeah. Yeah.
right
That's
now.
that's just up there from us.
Exactly.
It's just right there. Like
Toronto, Canada, it's a 10-hour drive from where we live at.
yeah. Canada's literally right there.
So we can apply to go seek asylum in Canada because of the violence and everything that's going on here in the US. Like how he put the travel restrictions on Haiti, we have other countries putting travel restrictions on us just because of how things are here. You know,
Yeah.
they're concerned they're supposed to have like the Olympics here and it was supposed to be something else that was supposed to be held here. And we got people saying that it's something that's supposed to be held in Texas. I forgot what it was. Uh but people are saying that they don't feel comfortable coming to the US because of how they're treating people from other countries.
Mm, mm, mm.
So now that's going to stop the US from holding events. I believe as of today, he has called off all negotiations with Canada as far as trade goes. So yeah, it's just a mess. He's just causing a mess. And which leads me to the war that has nothing to do with us.
All right, that's what we're gonna call it. I
Yep.
like that. I'll drink to that. Period. The word that has nothing to do with this.
Uh, let's just start off with America. I messed this up. Let's just start off with America. Has to be it has to be at war. Basically, we don't have the right man in charge to be at war.
No,
We have a man in charge. We have a man in charge of making decisions who can't even find a limo that's parked right in front of him when he get off an airplane. We have a man that does not know when the Civil War ended.
Wait, hold on. Time out. What you mean we couldn't find a limo that was parked in front of Air Force One?
So
It should have been a whole barrage of cars for him.
So he walked down the stairs of Air Force One, la da 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 la da da. Then he got to the bottom of the stairs and turned right and started walking to the front of the plane. And then one of the what they call them people, his protective services,
Secret Service.
Secret Service. One of the Secret Service agents had to run over there and tell him, "Hey, your car is right here." Like he's like, "Oh, it was right in front of him when he got to the very bottom of the stair. Like all he had to do was walk right about 4 or 5 steps forward, and your limo was right there."
But that's protocol, right? We want you to be not outside to be exposed a little bit of time as possible. So the car is going to be right there.
Exactly.
And you've been doing this, this is your second term. Why would they deviate from that and not tell you?
Oh God.
In front of anything, you're probably gonna be somewhere in the middle of the motorcade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about?
Idiocy.
I'm like, hold on, time out. What do you mean the car that was in front of him? Ain't he like gonna be turned 80?
He's 79 or 80. He just turned 79, one of the two.
Ooh,
and it's crazy because He's now the age that Joe Biden was when he got elected into office, and he was and then he was saying that Joe Biden was too old to be the president. Now look, now we got an old ass senile motherfucker who can't even find a damn limo that's parked right in front of him.
I mean, Trump has slowed down a lot. I feel like physically, he don't think he did slow down. I feel like he still is who he is personality wise, right? But he has slowed down as far as a lot of the stuff that he used to do, because he used to kick mess up. He kind of quieted down a little bit. I feel like he's starting to feel his age as he should. Like, you got grandkids. I need you to enjoy your life with grandkids, sir.
You see the video that he posted online. Oof.
About what?
You'll see. We have a man that does not know when the Civil War ended.
A very long time ago.
We have a man in charge that the Pentagon had to create a diversion. A diversion because they thought Trump was going to post the attack on social media. By the way, let me show y'all the video that he posted on social media about the B-2 bombers bombing Iran with the B-2 fighter jets.
I cannot believe what I've just seen. Donald Trump just posted a video on social media of a bunch of American B-2 bombers, and the song playing in the background is Bomb Iran from the President of the United States. Take a look.
Iran, bomb, 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 Iran, some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah gonna put you in a box.
Why would he do that? You heard some of those really gross and, quite frankly, Islamophobic lyrics in the background. Also, time to turn Iran into a parking lot. It's not very peaceful. I just remember a time in my 22 years on this earth when we had a president that was decent, that was kind.
Can you imagine
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I couldn't imagine. I'm like, the other countries got to be looking at us like, these motherfuckers, they elected the stupidest man on the fucking planet to run their country. Like, this is the dumbest shit I have ever seen.
Did the Bee Gees make the original song?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh my God.
Why? Why are you posting that? Like, you're poking these people. You're poking a bit. Stop poking these people.
Well, he made that whole reel or video about him going to the NATO summit or whatever, where I forget, somebody called him daddy when they were having like a conference together or whatever they call those. And he was playing Usher's Hey Daddy.
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh right. They did the Usher thing, right? Because right after you had told me about that, there was a video of I believe it was a Democratic, I believe he was a congressman, and he was like, going forward, like the whole country shouldn't call him President Trump. We should all just call him Daddy Trump going forward.
And then when he was going to the NATO summit, that's what he made a whole like video, like somebody was getting married type of video. And the soundtrack was Hey Daddy by Usher. And they had like captions on the screen like Hey and Daddy in bold print. I was like, this is got to be, man, life is so much different now.
I just can't. And then
they don't know what the
okay, so there's the right clip. So then he also had this to say about Iran also in Israel.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
This is the man we have running the country.
Wait a minute, though.
Let me play it again.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
So I think he was more irritated at the reporters.
I don't give a damn. You don't say that shit on.
That's
whatever goes on.
That's what it was giving. He was irritated with the reporter's dog. That's so you know how people get when they get older, right? But, I mean,
I can't.
Oh,
I just
that is hilarious. When I seen that dude, I was dying crying.
like he
I
stressed
was
he
dying.
takes me out so bad, y'all.
I
Like
was dying.
really
I was
don't
dying.
understand. Oh wait, and then here's another a video. This not of Trump. Before I finish this whole Trump thing, but it's not a Trump. But this is the video of you can't take black people serious. So I'm gonna play this video and then y'all judge.
Looking at niggas. Boy, y'all thought this shit was a game. But we do not want that smoke with y'all. Oh God, we do not want that smoke with y'all. Hey, whatever he said, we don't got no parts in the game.
Do you know how many times I watched that? Do you know how many times I watched it?
Mind y'all that's one of the reasons why I love TikTok because you go live with so many people all over the world and stuff like that. And he jumped in live with a bunch of people from Iran and like we don't want the smoke, y'all.
It was calm for me.
Right? Yeah, the cone like a
Dog. Dude came on like, I love people, man. We don't say nothing. We so unserious. That's the way we have to
serious
get
about everything.
We have to get to, this is how we get through hard times.
I swear. Okay. Okay. Bring it down. Okay. He lied to us after the first strike on Iran, saying that it was a success when it wasn't. He told us Iran nuclear facilities was destroyed when it wasn't. The bomb did not even reach the underground facilities. Why do people continue to support him when he just keep telling these lies? That it's just like destroyed part of the top of their facility or whatever. Like, oh, you just bombed our entrance. That's all. We're stuck on it here. We gotta dig ourselves out. That's all you did.
If somebody was even in there, they didn't tell us the casualty. Somebody of importance was killed in the arsenal, the blast. They didn't tell us none of that. So I feel like Trump would have been bragging about something like that.
He had nothing to think about.
Right.
So I'm gonna keep this show going because we almost at an hour, and I gotta show a really funny video that's like 3 minutes long. At the end, it's these two ladies. They doing a cook off, and they're making macaroni and cheese. And I saw this one white lady, and it's hilarious as hell.
Okay, we want to wait to see it.
Yeah, it's at the end. No, I'm just doing now. I'm about to finish this. Talking about the show. Right, Mitch McConnell. Let's talk about that old ass Mitch McConnell.
Oh my God.
While all of the stupid stuff was going on with Trump, we have Mitch McConnell, old turtle looking old ass, who people telling people they need to just get over it when it comes to cutting Medicaid and Medicare and all these other kinds of things.
Like, sir, aren't you on Medicaid? I'm pretty sure you qualified for Medicaid a long time ago. I probably wasn't even a mother when he qualified for Medicaid. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Oh God!
When you qualify for Medicaid, let's get that out of here.
People would get over it. No, people will not get over it. It's you stupid fuck. They're not going to get over it because they will not be able to get life-saving and preventative health care that they need. Not everyone gets free health care for life like you, Mitch McConnell, old ass turtle motherfucker. But by the way, Saturday night he voted to move. They voted to move forward with the big beautiful bill. It's supposed to be read. The whole entire bill, 900 some pages, supposed to be read on the floor for everybody can know what's actually in the bill that the Republicans are trying to get passed. But anywho, how are you trying to replace something? How about you replace it with a bigger and better program? Make Medicare bigger and better. How about giving everybody universal health care as a start? Instead of leaving people out to hang, is all I gotta say.
So the crazy part about it is nobody was really complaining about Medicare.
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? So I really don't understand what, but
because they only want to cut Medicaid and Medicare to give what was it like 1 point some $1 trillion in tax cuts to the millionaires, the billionaires, and corporation. But then on top of that, like you cutting everything for that everyday people rely on, especially are the most vulnerable people in our country. These are things that these people depend on to live, and you're going to cut it to give people who don't need tax cuts, and then on top of that, add $3 trillion to the deficit that we already have. We would so what? America is already what 7 or 8 trillion dollars in debt, and you're gonna add 3 more trillion onto this. So now we're about to be down there 10. What the fuck comes at the trillion at this point? Like we're gonna be the first country that owe more than whatever comes at the $1 trillion or trillion in fucking money because this dumbass idiot in office. Like, so every time we come to a thing where we got to do the budget for our country, these wrinkled ass old people that was born in 19, 20, and 30 that don't know shit about today's world is going to say, let's just increase the debt ceiling. And then what happens when we increase the debt ceiling? That means the person who's in charge of American money is going to go to other countries and borrow more money that we can't pay back.
Are you done?
Ah.
Are you done?
Pisses me off, and then these people keep voting these dumb fuckers in here. It pisses me off.
Are you done?
I need to come down again.
What is happening today, y'all? He was so aggressive. I apologize for that. I bring you peace and love.
I need to have a drink, and I'm gonna turn it over to Tina because I'm pissed.
Oh wait, let me drink to that with you. Clink clink.
All right, clink. By the way, normally I don't do these on the show, but this is the shit. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to turn over to Tina now.
Okay, so first we're going to do some local news, okay?
I added in an extra thing in her story that she don't know about. Well, it's not this one, but it's after this one. She don't know that I added it in there. But okay.
So this following this I'm sorry, y'all. I have a toddler down here with me now. So this past Thursday, we had two police officers respond to a call of an individual with a gun near 25th and Garfield around 9 p.m. That call escalated to shots fired while the officers were on their way to that location. So when they arrived at the scene, they hopped out the car and they were met with gunfire in an alley, which some are describing as an ambush. The two officers were taken to a trauma level 1 hospital, Freighter Hospital here in the area. One officer is a 29-year-old with 6 years of experience that suffered non-life-threatening injuries of a gunshot wound to the back and the foot. This officer hadn't been identified positively. I didn't see, and I saw one report of the name of the officer, but I didn't see anything from any of the local news outlets, so I won't release that name. He has since been released from the hospital. Don't know about any ongoing, if he's going to be like what his recovery look like, if he's going to get back on duty anytime soon, etc., if he's just going to be on desk duty because he was involved in the incident. Now, when the incident happened, the two officers that were involved did not return gunfire. So let me just put that out there, okay? Now, the other officer was identified via social media, family on social media, friends, stuff like that. It's 32-year-old Kendall Porter. Go get it.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all. So Porter has also been on the force for about 6 years. And was listed in great condition about after the shooting. So he was had several gunshot wounds to his upper extremities, his arms, and they said at least one pierced his chest that had done damage to his heart. A suspect was arrested around 2:15 a.m. So on Friday morning. So this happened at about 9 p.m. on Thursday night, and they had arrested somebody at 2:15 a.m. the next day. I mean, in the morning, early morning hours Friday. That individual was identified as Tremaine Jones. Jones has not been formally charged as of this broadcast. And this is something that Martell and I were kind of going back and forth about, where they capture a suspect and they released his name and his photograph, but he hadn't been charged. And I was just like, that's kind of weird for them to release the identity of a suspect before they were formally charged, right? So we really don't know what this individual is going to be charged with. I don't even know how old he was. He looked young in the photograph that I saw. And I don't know. We really don't know
He's
why.
32 years old.
32.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and I mean, the younger than that, like he's 32. But we don't know what the situation was, why somebody had a gun, and so why, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever the altercation was going on, that somebody had a gun and then shots ended up being fired before the police even got there, right? So that's a whole other situation that we haven't been informed on. But now we got this, now that the police officers have been shot, now it's something more, right? And when this initial Officer Quarter was listed in critical and / grave condition. This was Thursday night that it happened, right? So probably about a couple of hours ago, it was announced that Officer Quarter succumbed to his injuries, unfortunately. So, end of watch was Sunday, June 29th, 2025. Let's keep his family uplifted in prayer while they go through this situation. I was reading a lot of things on Facebook. He was a father, an uncle, a brother, a son, you know. So let's keep them uplifted in prayer. And I really hope that we get the truth of this situation. I don't want the police or the DA or whatever to put somebody in jail just because it was a police officer shot. I want to get the truth behind the situation. So, what's breaking news? So you put this in here for me?
Yeah.
Okay. So breaking news: at least 2 people are dead, and multiple firefighters have been reportedly shot in what authorities are calling an active shooter situation near Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That sounds like that was settled by the French. The shooting began about 2 p.m. today. Local time on Sunday, as firefighters were responding to a reported brush fire in the area. So this is what you were telling me about. It was a couple of firefighters that had died.
Yeah, this is right before we went on the air. It was breaking news via Aaron Penanez, because I had got the email right before we went on the air of him talking about this. We'll follow the story and have more updates for you on the next show, because there's some more updates right as of this moment.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So that's something that's developing in real time. So last week I reported on another local story here. A young lady by the name of Ashley Hudson was shot and killed by her 15-year-old brother, I believe, after her mother basically like facilitated her siblings to come jump her, right? So I've been trying to follow that because it's a very unfortunate situation. But right now there are no new updates. We will keep you updated when we have any new developments about that, okay?
Sorry about something that's setting off my damn allergies.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about when her funeral arrangements or anything like that. I know one of her uncles was trying to sell a car or something to pay for her burial expenses, because you got to think about it, right? So her mom and her siblings have been arrested in various charges related to her murder. So it's like, who is going to put this young lady to rest? I haven't seen any GoFundMe's, which is a little odd to me, since this is a local story and a lot of people that I follow on Facebook or Instagram are local. So I haven't seen anything for that, but I know her uncle was selling a car. I'm not sure if he sold that car to try to pay for her funeral. And then like if you want to actually put people in the ground, it's gonna run somewhere about 10 grand,
So
right?
the cheapest funeral, the cheapest that you can have a funeral, which is to pay for like where you have your funeral service at, putting them, having the open and closing of the grave, paying for the casket. You have to pay for like some that goes in the ground. So all together with all that, you're looking at about $9,000.
Yeah, that's why I said about 10 grand if you want to get fancy. Fancy as far as our
Do a
like.
cremation, if you do just a cremation and then you have a service or whatever, you look and you want to still want to display the body, you're looking at about between $4,000 to $6,000.
So, especially for somebody that don't have life insurance policies. She was relatively young, so it's a possibility. And she had 4 kids. It's a possibility she didn't have a life insurance policy unless she had something through her job or something like that.
You young people real fast.
Yeah, I mean that's something that
I have a cash I have a cash value life insurance policy that I started when I was around 23, 24 years old. I started the life insurance policy. It's only $30,000 because I don't plan on having kids. So I'm like, I don't really need that much money in life insurance.
What
Like,
about you?
we got parents for that. But like, so in case something happened to me, they can have the cheapest service known to man. Like I said, I don't plan on being buried or anything. I'd probably end up being cremated. Um, but
Why?
huh?
Why?
I don't want to be bug food. No.
Why not?
Um,
Do you give them back to the earth? It's a natural process.
no, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you at all. So like life insurance policy. So like I said, I have a cash value life insurance policy. It's $30,000. It costs me literally $33 a month for this life insurance policy, and it's really cheap. And if you're in a tough situation and you need to borrow money, they will actually loan you the money off your life insurance policy, and you have to pay them back over time. So it's a good investment to have. So when it comes, if something was to just happen to you unexpectedly, you don't have your family members trying to scrimp money together, doing GoFundMe, selling dinners, doing all these other kind of crazy things to at least have you put it away nicely. So just really consider getting a life insurance policy. As long as I'm working at my job that I currently have now, if I was to pass away while I'm still working for them, I do have a $95,000 life insurance policy with them. So if I'm ever was to pass away, while I'm still working, that policy they pay out that money. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Most jobs now that I've had in recent years do offer. That's one of the benefits is to have a life insurance policy. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. But yeah, I have probably about 5 life insurance policies that I open because I have children, right? And once I started having children, then I had a life insurance policy on me because I have to cover all of my assets, right? For my kids. But it's important, especially if you have kids, if you don't have kids, at least don't allow your family members to bear that burden. It's already hard because they have to say goodbye forever to a loved one. At least, have a life insurance policy that is very cheap to get life insurance to, be able to have your final wishes carried out. I agree with that. So to keep it moving, this and this doggone Diddy trial, I'm so over this. I'm tired of it. I'll be honest with you. It's been a long, like 31 days, I think, or something like that.
it's been a while. By the way, before Tina goes forward, just let you know, I cover mostly political and like worldwide news, and Tina covers mostly our entertainment news and local news. Just in case
Yes.
y'all-
So so they started off the week with some shenanigans, right? Basically, so Diddy was has been sued by somebody else. I didn't even go into details about what's going on, but it's a woman that was suing him for something. I'm assuming it was something related to kind of like a Cassie and Maya and Jane Doe situation. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. And then And a separate lawsuit was him and one of his sons that was implicated in the lawsuit. So we'll see how those lawsuits pan out. But I was more interested in the closing arguments this week from prosecution and the defense in the Diddy trial. Y'all, we almost near the end. So as far as the prosecution closing arguments, they basically focus on stating that the women that Diddy was involved in, that were testifying on the stand, were coerced into a freak off or a hotel situation, and that was enough for the sex trafficking conviction. It's part of the RICO trial that he got RICO charges, so that would qualify as that. So this comes from the women testifying that they were eventually unwilling participants that complied because they fear financial or physical retaliation. So basically, it was Cassie, and then two women that were under the pseudonyms of Maya. They testified on a stand that initially they were okay with these freak offs on hotel nights, and then after a while, they felt like they were obligated to do it because Diddy would either become physically abusive, verbally abusive, or would retaliate financially. And the prosecution continued in saying that Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka Brother Love, aka Love.
Brother Love. What the heck?
You don't remember Brother Love?
No.
Listen, it was that time.
Oh, shit.
So basically, they're saying that his employees operated as a criminal enterprise. They were involved in years of facilitating these freak offs and these hotel nights and covering them up by involving themselves in kidnapping, arson, bribery, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution, forced labor, and drug distribution. Then they went on and said that Diddy had a hand in witness tampering after settling lawsuits. So the only lawsuit, the one predominant lawsuit that I know of is with Cassie, right? But they said that these allegations of witness tampering are more connected to two women that testified under the pseudonyms of Maya and Jane Doe. So they were basically saying that after Cassie filed her lawsuit, Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him, had contacted Maya, right, in quotes, and Jane Doe, in quotes, to kind of try to smooth things over, because he knew that, as I said in previous broadcasts, where their experience is past. So they feel like that he was basically witness tampering by contacting them, even though they had been done with him, right? Mm-hmm. So then the defense on Friday did their closing arguments. They asserted that Sean Combs ran a legitimate business. Then they turned around and said that his personal drug use is not considered distribution. And then this one kind of blew me, that Cassie's relationship with Sean Combs was a great modern love story. Excuse me, what? What about that was a great modern love story? Like this,
nothing like, about all the abuse and freak offs and the rubber duckies. I still want to know what they're doing with the
rubber duckies were for. They never did say what the rubber duckies were for. But how could you sit up there and say, and that kind of made me feel some kind of way as a woman, how can you put those words into her mouth and say that this was a modern love story when she clearly, and I've said this for years, when I see pictures of her, like it's very few pictures of her that she's with, like she's smiling, like she looks happy, right? You can see that somebody is happy and comfortable when they take a picture, you know, right. And she just never seemed that way. So I'm like, where did they get that from? But then they also went on a tangent about that the people that took the stand, the accusers, and I didn't like that word that he used. I don't like that word that he used because you're saying accusers when all of these people were clearly subpoenaed to testify, so they didn't have a choice in the matter, right?
Right.
But he tried to say he was more saying about that about the lawsuits that were happening, but Cassie had a valid lawsuit and she was paid out, right? And then they went on to say that the escorts were paid for time and not actually sex. So those were basically the closing arguments. You know, this has been a very lengthy trial. RICO trials are actually always very lengthy, and this is probably one of the shorter ones, to be honest. So I'm curious about how the jury is going to rule. I did have a look at the actual jury. I don't know what it's called, where they decide, yes, he's guilty of this charge, and no, he's not guilty of this charge. This was proven, this was not proven. So I had to look at that last week. And there's quite a few charges because it is a RICO case. And to keep everybody current with what the law is, he only has to be charged with 2 out of the 8 things that fall underneath a RICO charge. So I'm really kind of feeling like the sex trafficking thing is going to stick because prostitutes crossing state lines, right? You can't do that. And then witness tampering, I can kind of really see that. I feel like that's something that was thrown in last minute. They really impressed that while it was while Jane Doe, Maya, and Cassie was on the stand, but it was said by all 3 women where he would exert some type of aggression towards them if they would ever say or do anything or tell them not to say or do certain things, you know, or with Jane Doe like, to testify on the stand, he wanted her rent to still be paid and her legal expenses are covered by him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just all of this, I'm just kind of curious as to how the jury is going to rule. I feel like, I mean, so this is my prediction is that it's going to take the jury a little bit of time, probably a lot more time than like the Maxwell Anderson case that I reported on, to come back with a decision. But I'm curious to see if he is going to be convicted of enough of these charges to actually get jail time. You know, and then if he is convicted, is sorry, y'all. And if he, and if he is convicted, like if he will actually serve jail time, or if he will have to pay a restitution or a fine of some sort, or something else that didn't require him to actually be in prison all the time. So I am excited to see how this. I actually want him to be convicted of something and put his weird ass away. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Like, I really want to see his weird ass put away for something. I really feel like he should pay the price for what he did. You know what I'm saying, to like Cassie in general, because we can see what he did to Cassie. You know what I'm saying? So, and any other women that had to go through something like that wasn't caught on camera, so he just, y'all out there, if you have a kink or a fetish of some sort, like, please get with somebody that shares that same kink or fetish and is okay with doing that, okay? And you won't have these type of problems.
I agree.
And I'm done. Catch up with y'all next week with that.
All right, let's talk about dads for a moment because we're almost out of time here. So, someone filmed a dad teaching his son how to use the bathroom, most likely the mom. In the video, you see the dad pulling out his private parts, and his son's following what the dad is doing. He explains to his son how to pee with the toilet seat up. She shows everything from a man standing up, trying to teach me like a man stand up to pee, to the shaking process, to make sure teach him how to aim and all them other kind of things. So the people on the internet are saying that is wrong. He should not be in the bathroom with his son or doing these type of things with his son in the bathroom. Some of the male responses to people saying that it was wrong, they were saying that only people who grew up without a father in the house would find this wrong. I learned how to go to the bathroom by watching my older brothers go to the bathroom. My younger brother watched my older brothers go to the bathroom when he was learning how to go to the bathroom. He was only 2 years old when he was learning how to go to the bathroom at the time. So I feel like that's how we learn. Like we have to see it because it's like a woman can't show a boy how to stand up at the toilet and aim his pee and pee. Like how can she teach him that if she don't have the tools to,
So I agree with that. I have 3 boys, okay, and I feel like I can potty train them to a certain extent, but then it's they have options, right? They can sit down and pee, they can stand up and pee, and I feel like that standing up part, the father should definitely be a part of it, right? Because I don't, I don't know how to, I can't.
By the way, this I was gonna play the video, but that's the father showing the son.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. That's exactly what I envision it to be, and that's why
filming.
And that's what I've seen with my older children. What's that?
Now, Sean, where was you at for the whole thing? We did a whole piece on a police officer passing away. Like we literally did a whole. Sean, where was you at? Literally, I had the picture up and everything. Sean, where was you at?
Wait a minute. Sean, we did talk about that. He died later today. And he was shot in the line of duty Thursday night. Yeah, we did talk about Officer Carter already.
So I want to play this video because we're getting close on time. I want to play this video of audio listeners. Hopefully, y'all just get a chuckle out of it. If you want to see the video version of it, you can always log in on our Facebook and YouTube channel and watch the video version of the podcast or this portion to see the video. So I'm going to play this video for you of these 2 ladies having a cook-off, and they were making macaroni and cheese. I just want to say before we watch this, I watched this lady put in her a tub of butter in this damn macaroni. But I'm gonna play the video.
You're supposed to use a strainer.
Well, honey, this the old way. We ain't using now. I ain't.
A strainer.
Mama had a little butter.
I gotta have a measuring cup. Is mine done?
You gonna have to test it. They say when they get white on the ends that they ready.
Is that how you test it?
Yeah.
You just test it. Put it in your mouth and see if it's tender. Is it hard?
Mama getting down to business, Shelly. You still boiling.
Just can't do something lickety split, honey. Where's the strainer at? I just saw one a while ago. I don't know how to do all that business. Woo! I thought I was gonna burn myself.
This is hilarious. See, did them like she using that powdered cheese.
If you don't get that backed up,
I think your mac and cheese needs some water in there.
stay in your own lane. I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to put. I'll just put 1 part. You really can't have too much butter in it. White people don't make macaroni.
I never seen sour cream on in macaroni. I've never seen.
Reckon why? I'm telling you, white folks make it from a box. Hope it's not gonna be too much. bet I put too much. Yeah, it's better than mine does. Now I gotta put my topper on.
What's your topper?
Breadcrumbs.
Out of Ritz crackers?
Something extra.
Well, I guess I'll add some ham in mine.
Ham!
I ain't never seen somebody put Ritz crackers. This is what they did down yonder.
Honey, they make all kinds of dishes down the road. All right, there's my little concoction.
I thought you supposed to taste mine.
Oh, I thought he needed for us both to taste ours.
Don't let your teeth pop out.
That's good. That's the way mine's gonna taste too.
That's good with that stuff on top of it. It's still like.
Well, the directions don't call for any seasoning. I like black people's macaroni and cheese.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Now you know this is good.
It's not even black people macaroni and cheese. That's like how we spruce up the box macaroni and cheese, right?
God. I saw that. I was at work today. But
why she wouldn't stand still?
I kept saying that. Like,
Back and forth.
like, oh, that was so hilarious. Oh my God. Okay. With all that being said, because we are not really short on time, we're going to head into final thoughts, wherever that screen is at. I don't know where it's at. There's so many scenes. Oh, here we go.
Oh, look, it's me. Okay, final thoughts. So I wanted to kind of highlight the Summerfest Festival, music festival. Is one of the largest in the world, if not the largest in the world. Okay, it's the largest in the world. Okay, so I had an opportunity to go down to Summerfest yesterday. It's the first time I've been down there in years. I went to the amphitheater, had a chance to see Megan Thee Stallion. Had VIP tickets. It was a wonderful experience. I had lounges, they had food and unlimited liquor, top shelf liquor. I didn't know how to act, and I was close to Megan Thee Stallion and all types of stuff. I could go backstage, and then I went over to the free stage with Bossman D-Lo, and I got a chance to be next to him and all types of stuff. So, and I had me a funnel cake, and I had me some bacon wrapped prime rib bites. They were fantastic, so all in all, me going to Summerfest, I really had a great time. Yesterday it was a lot of people that came out. I know the first weekend, I believe, was last weekend. It was extremely hot here in Milwaukee last weekend.
Coochie, a camel walking across the desert.
It was stupid hot, Todd. It was like dangerous hot, right? This is why I'd be like, oh, well, maybe I can't do Canada. Maybe it'll feel like Wisconsin back in the day, right? But I had so much fun. It was a lot of people that came out. It was a lot of just good fun, a lot of walking or whatever, but it was like perfect. The temperature was perfect. Megan Thee Stallion did her thing. I really enjoyed seeing her in concert. That's one of my favorite artists. And I just love the way that she interacted with her fans. Like, she took the time to talk to people, hug people, sign autographs while she was performing on stage. She brought about 20 people on stage during her performance. And then I looked on social media and she posted about Milwaukee, had a whole video about her performance in Milwaukee. So I dig it. She messes with us, and I really enjoy her energy. And that's my final thought.
So my final thought is, I can't stand that old ass turtle Mitch McConnell. He need to go ahead and just fall somewhere and never get back the hell up. I can't stand you, Mitch McConnell. I don't like you. I hope you burn somewhere. Go on somewhere, Mitch McConnell, and Donald J. Trump, whatever your name is, to go fall down some more stairs again like you did before, you bastard, trying to take away people's health insurance, all this other kind of stuff. I can't stand his bastard ass. And by the way, I'm excited because I bought tickets on a Friday to the Boy Is Mine tour. Saying I get to see Kelly Rowland perform live for the first time. So I'm very excited. Anybody who know me, everybody think Mariah Carey is my number one girl. No, it's Calendria Rowland. Kelly Rowland is my number one girl. I love me some Kelly, and I can't wait to see her October 18th at the Pfizer Forum. I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait to see my girl Kelly Rowland live in person. I'm excited. And that's my final thoughts.
Well, okay.
With that being said, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast, where we are live and uncut. So we hope to see you all in the next episode. Don't forget to check out our social media accounts on Facebook, YouTube. Shit, I gotta stop drinking. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, which is all ran by Crystal B. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast, and we will see you all on the next one. Have a good one.
Bye.